Okay. So I learned early on, I understood really on in the business that incredible things are not just accomplished by one person, right? Just like Samir was just talking about. If you think about Beyonce, right,
Yes.
as incredible and fabulous as she is, right? She
Absolutely.
has a team of people backing her up, right? She's got her manager, choreographer, designer, all of that, right? Jen might like to think that it's all Beyonce's idea, right? But the reality is it's probably not, right? She knows the people to hire to execute her vision, right? Agents look for sales. Business owners look for people, again, that can execute their vision, right? So successful people are great at leveraging, right? This is the word of the day here, leveraging. We all have a limited amount of time in one day, right? We only have 24 hours around the clock. And one way that you can use leverage is by putting your people in front of the people who are have the highest skill sets, right? So our best tool for recruiting right now is the op meeting. Why? Because between us and Shaq, who do you think is better at explaining this business?
Shaq.
Shaq. Exactly, right? So why not use him to recruit for you, right? In business, the people who knows the what works for the people who knows the who, right? Steve Jobs was not the most genius computer engineer, but he knew who to hire to create those computers for him, right? So we want to use Shaq because if you think about it, testimony, you had 5 guests last week, right? Would you rather take 5 hours to do 5 interviews or just put them in the op?
Yeah.
Put them in the op, right? You just saved yourself 5 hours of time right there by putting them in the op. So use the op, you guys. So one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. Since we're growing, I feel like this made sense to talk about because it's gonna get harder for us to control everybody, right? So you want to prepare your guests. So what I tell my guests always, it's business attire, right? I've been getting a lot of young people, so I just say business attire instead of business casual. 2 is you want to bring a notebook and pen, tell them to be 15 minutes early. You guys, it's really, really, really distracting when people come in late, right? And this is not just happening once every meeting, it's happening like 3-4 times, right? I have to like stop myself and continue. It's not just distracting for the speaker, but it's distracting for all the other guests as well, right? So we want to make that a point. So 4 is let them know that we will get separated into a separate room so they're not super surprised, right? Tell them to use the restroom and turn their phone on silent. The phone thing is not a huge problem, but just let them know just in case. So first impressions, people don't just buy the opportunity, but they buy you, right? Humans, we're emotional animals. We buy emotionally and then we defend that logically, right? So people have to like you. Research shows that most people make their first impression in the first 7 seconds. So make sure you're dressed sharp, right? Especially if you're young, you always want to dress to impress. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, will you give yourself $1 million today, right? Will you even give yourself $100,000 today? Smile, right? Have a positive energy. Who wants to work with someone that looks like this all the time?
Yeah.
Or just like grungy and sad and low energy and sleepy. No one wants to do that, right? You want to work with someone who's smiling and energetic. Practice a firm handshake. I don't know if anyone has shook someone's hand and it's kind of like, it was like, you don't want to touch me? Like, what's going on here? Get here early. Get here before your guests. I'm guilty of this, so I put it on here to kind of tell myself. I was super early here today, more than my other guests, right? So, but get here early before your guests. It's not fair for other people to have to, talk to your guests and things like that while you're not here, right? Because they can be doing something else. But also it doesn't look good for you if your guest is sitting around by themselves, right? And then if they are alone, go up to them, talk to them, right? Ask them who invited them out. And then when you do that, hype that person up. Oh my gosh, you were invited by Anne, you were invited by Testimony. She's incredible. She's the best
Yes.
person in our office, right? Hype that person up. So, and then what I wanted to talk about was this book right here. This really, really impacted me, especially in the beginning of my career, How to Win Friends and Influence People, by Dale Carnegie. So, let me read this extract real quick. So he says here, for many years, I conducted courses each season at the Engineer Club of Philadelphia and also course of the New York chapter of the American Institute of Electrical Engineers. A total of probably more than 1,500 engineers have passed through my classes. They came to me because they had finally realized after years of observation and experience that the highest paid personnel in engineering are frequently not the one who knows the most about engineering. One can, for example, hire more technical ability in engineering, accountancy, architecture, or any other profession at nominal salaries, but the person who has technical knowledge plus the ability to express ideas, to assume leadership, and to arouse enthusiasm among people, that person is headed for higher earning power, right? So it's very, very, very important that people like you. And then how to, so talk more, listen more, talk less, right? Let them talk about themselves. Leave your problems at home. No one cares, especially if they're a stranger. They don't care about their problems, right? And then introduce them to other leaders in here, people who they can relate to, that so they can feel warm, right? So how to invite. If you're new, you want to start with your warm market, right? People who know you and love you and want to support you. So what to say? What are you doing this Saturday morning? Ask that first, right? I'm helping host an event. I'm responsible for having 10 guests. Can you come out and make me look good? That's it. Simple, right? And then if you're calling resumes and things like that, I always tell them I would prefer to meet you in person, especially for the first time. We have a few hiring events this month. The next one is Saturday at 9:30 a.m. or Wednesday at 12 p.m. Which is better for you? Okay, so remember, in American business, you're either doing the recruiting or you're being recruited. So thank you. I hope that helps.